Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with Ralph. Hope you're fine, dear lovely IELTS candidates. Today we're going to work on IELTS Task 2 essay writing, and our topic is about leaving school at 16, and it's the question type is opinion essay. So, first of all, let's take a look at our question. Let's see what the question is about, and then we'll talk about writing a very well structured essay. In some countries, children under 16 years old are not allowed by law to leave school and get full time work. Is this a good or bad thing? Discuss your opinion. All right, now, the first thing that I've seen some students mess up is that they consider this question as discussion essay because of the word discuss here, of the verb discuss. Whenever you see discuss, it does not mean that your essay is going to be discussion essay, all right? This is opinion essay. You have to provide your opinion and say if this approach is a good or a bad thing. The approach is that in some countries, children under 16 years old are not allowed by law to leave school and get full-time work. This is the approach. Do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing? Now, let's see what positions can we have in writing our essay. Well, basically, there are 5 positions that you can take, one of them. All right. The first one is you think that allowing children to leave school at 16 is an entirely good idea. This is your first approach, right? Entirely good idea. Then you should provide your supporting details, right? The second position is that the advantages of allowing children to leave school at 16 outweigh the disadvantages. The advantages are more, right? The third approach is allowing children to leave school at 16 is an entirely bad idea. This is the third position that you can take. The fourth position is that the disadvantages of allowing children to leave school at 16 outweigh the advantages. This is the fourth approach. Now, one position remains, and it is a kind of balanced view toward this approach. And it's that you can say in some circumstances or conditions, this is a good idea. And in other circumstances or conditions, this is a bad idea, right? This is the approach. This is the position that I'm going to take here in writing this essay. And remember, this is not the same as arguing that it is both good and bad, right? No, this is not the same as this. So when you take this approach, you should be very careful. So if you use this position, all right, you must specifically indicate in which circumstances it is good and in which circumstances it is bad. So this is very important, right? So you should provide the specific circumstances that you believe that taking this approach is good or taking this approach is bad. All right, now let's talk about advantages of allowing 16-year-olds to leave school and the disadvantages. All right, what are the advantages when we allow children, of course, 16-year-olds to leave school and get a full-time job? The first advantage is that young people need to become kind of independent, so that they can develop into mature adults. This is one advantage. Another advantage is if young people get a job, what they earn can help and support their family, right? The third advantage is some teenagers hate school, and there is no point wasting their time by making them remain in classes where they will not be willing to learn. This is the third advantage. And the fourth advantage is some youngsters can learn on the job far more effectively than by doing academic study. All right, these are 4 advantages of allowing 16-year-olds to leave school and get a full-time job. Now, what are the disadvantages of allowing 16-year-olds to leave school? The first disadvantage is that there may not be enough jobs available, and those who cannot get work may waste their time or even turn to crime. Right? This is the first disadvantage. The second disadvantage is, as school leavers have few skills, they will probably get poorly paid, low skilled work and might never get the chance to train and develop their skills. And the third disadvantage is young people are not mature enough to be independent, all right? So they need the guidance and support which actually school offers. All right, these are some advantages and disadvantages of allowing 16-year-olds to leave school and get a full-time job. Now, what I'm going to do here is start writing our introduction so you know what introduction is. Our introduction part consists mainly of three parts. The first part is a general statement that is related to the topic. The second part is restating the question or paraphrasing the question. And the third part is thesis statement, which is actually the most important sentence in our entire essay. So with general statement, I'm going to write something like this. Attitudes towards the school leaving age vary from region to region. So I specify that people's attitudes towards this issue is a varying degree, right? Some people believe it's good and some people believe it's bad, right? So I prepare the reader for my next sentence, which is paraphrasing the question. Now, in paraphrasing the question, you can change the word order, you can use some synonym language, right? Some governments permit those aged 16 to stop studying and seek employment instead, whilst others expect adolescents to continue in further or higher education. This is my second sentence. I paraphrase the question. Right now, the most important sentence that I'm going to write is my next sentence, which is thesis statement. Since I believe that it depends on different circumstances, so I should definitely indicate the circumstances here. What are those three or two circumstances? Now, I believe that it depends on the nation's economic requirements, all right, and the children themselves. Do the children themselves want to continue their education or not? All right, so these are the two specific circumstances that I'm going to include in my thesis statement. Now, I write something like this. Which approach is more sensible? Which approach is more sensible depends on what? Now, the two specific ideas. On the nation's economic requirements, right? And the wishes of the children concerned. These are two basic reasons that I believe that this policy and this approach depends. So it depends on the nation's economic requirements and the wishes of the children concerned. Now, in each paragraph, in paragraph 2, or the first main body paragraph, I'm going to talk about the nation's economic requirements, and I will specify in which circumstances do the children should continue and in which circumstances should they abandon studying and continue having their full-time job, all right? And in second body paragraph, I'm definitely going to write about the children's, let's say, their wishes, right? Now, I will say in what circumstances children's wishes are concerned and they should continue their education, and in what circumstances they should abandon their studies and they seek job and they try to continue earning money, all right? Now, let's turn to our next paragraph, which is our first main body paragraph and our second paragraph. Right, I should, because in my thesis statement, I talked about nation's economic requirements. So in my topic sentence, I should directly relate that to my thesis statement, all right? So, political leaders should formulate policies based on the needs of the state. This is my topic sentence, right? It supports actually my thesis statement. It refers to the thesis statement. And now I should expand. What do I really mean? I should consider both sides of the argument. In what circumstances should children continue their education as related to the needs of the state? And in what circumstances should they find a job, right? Now, if a country is experiencing a shortage of manual workers, it makes sense to give teenagers the right to take these jobs. So, this is the circumstance that I think abandoning studies and finding a job would be sensible if a country is experiencing a shortage of manual workers. Now I should consider when should children continue their education. Similarly, this is a very good linking word here, right? And I want to make it clear to the reader that the next sentence also describes a situation in which the state needs to formulate a policy, right? Now I use this linking word. Similarly, if there is a lack of highly qualified doctors, lawyers, and engineers, those in power, again, those in power, this is a very useful phrase here. Instead of writing, for example, politicians, I use some synonym. Those in power need to incentivize youngsters to remain in full-time education and prevent them from abandoning their studies early. So I considered both sides of the argument here. In which circumstances should children abandon their studies, and which circumstances should they continue their studies, all right? And I considered both of them here. And the last sentence, which is very important, is here I'm going to kind of support, right? And talk about, let's say, the argument by giving some real world information. This is precisely what has happened in several developing nations. This is a strong evidence. This is strong evidence, right? And believe me, examiners are looking for well-supported arguments. And by writing this, all right, this is, so it can be either with or without a noun. It's a great way of, let's say, linking two sentences together. So when I say this here, I mean the previous two sentences, the two approaches, all right? It refers back to nouns or ideas in the previous sentence. This is precisely what has happened in several developing nations. All right, this is my first main body paragraph. Now I'm going to write my second main body paragraph. And as you know, in our thesis statement, we talked about the students' wishes. Do they wish to continue or not? Now I'm going to support them here. I start writing my first sentence by giving a topic sentence, all right, which is connected to the thesis statement, all right, and it refers to the wishes of the children concerned. Obviously, the appropriate approach may change according to a child's goals, strength, and aspirations. Something important here is nominalization. What is nominalization? And it's a feature of strong formal writing. Nominalization happens when writers use nouns or noun phrases to replace other words, right? So here we could write, for example, we might do things differently or depending on what children want to do and how skillful they are, right? But the sentence here in this model answer looks more formal, far more formal. And the thing that I've done here, I've used some words like goals, strengths, and aspirations. This shows the examiner that you know a bunch of vocabulary, right? You show the examiner your lexical resource, All right. So don't just stick to one word by writing, for example, according to a child's goals. You can write synonym words. And this is what I mean by nominalization: goals, strength, and aspirations. Now, I should first here, I should write about those children who should continue their education. In what circumstances? Those who thrive in an educational setting and perform well in examinations. Uh, it's important to use different words and grammatical forms to describe people. Instead of those who thrive in an educational setting and perform well in examinations, I could write successful students, right? But when referring to a group of people, it is very good to use those, right? For example, those who work hard, those living in rural communities, or those denied their rights, or those in trouble. So by writing those and referring to that group of people, I'm kind of, again, using different words and grammatical forms, right? Those who thrive in an educational setting and perform well in examinations should be encouraged to go to colleges and universities. So this is that circumstance by which I mean those students should continue their education. Now, at the same time, there are some people, some students who are unwilling to attend classes, right? Now, I use the linking word however. However, there is little point forcing unwilling students to attend. What do I mean by this? Now, I should expand this. I should talk more about this part. They will respond by misbehaving, disrupting classes, refusing to work, and playing truant. Again, this is another kind of nominalization here. I'm using some synonyms. I'm using some words to expand my idea. Misbehaving, disrupting classes, refusing to work, and playing truant, right? Now, I'm going to give an example, a real life example, right? So, in this case, I'm supporting my argument here. My own experience provides support for this point. So, what is my example? I endured 2 years of poor quality classes because the tutors had to concentrate on controlling poorly behaved classmates who would have felt more fulfilled elsewhere. So in this case here, by providing my own example, I support what I said previously. And as you can see in this paragraph, I considered both sides too. I said that, all right, if students are thriving in and they're successful, they should definitely continue their education. But if a student is unwilling to attend classes, so in this case, if that person attends the classes, he should definitely misbehave or play truant. And in this case, teachers or tutors might focus more on those students, and the productivity of those students who are willing to continue their education and who are thriving in their education would definitely diminish. All right. So this is how I relate those two, let's say, approaches together. And again, I'm kind of saying that it really depends on different circumstances. Now it's time to write our conclusion. So you definitely know that the first sentence of conclusion is kind of refers to my thesis statement. Having considered this matter in some depth, I have reached the conclusion that a flexible approach is necessary. Flexible approach. It would be sensible for ministers of education to offer the best of both worlds. 17-year-olds could be offered apprenticeship, which allowed them to combine work and study. Similarly, colleges could link their academic programs to relevant work-based skills. These strategies would be popular, allowing everyone involved to succeed. Now, as you can see here, I'm giving my opinion. I'm suggesting a way that governments or ministers of education can tackle this problem. All right. And you know that the last sentence of conclusion is always a hope. It can be prediction of the future. It can be your suggestion or recommendation to make the situation much better. All right, guys, that's the end of our today's session. Hope you enjoyed this part and has been really helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can simply ask in comments and I will kindly answer all your questions. Until next time, enjoy your time. Stay tuned and goodbye.